Monix.com.
Monix.com.
All right, bad news, bacon. According to a new study by the World Health Organization, eating processed meat like hot dogs and bacon could be as dangerous as smoking cigarettes when it comes to cancer. Here to weigh in, Shalene McNeil, Executive Director of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Dr. Kevin Campbell, and nutritionist Rebecca Scritchfield. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Dr. Campbell, let me start with you. I'm sure you had a chance to look through this study. I mean, they say processed meats, they put them in the same category as smoking and asbestos. Really?
You know, I'm not sure I would go quite that far. What we need to remember about all these studies that were looked at by the World Health Organization is that they saw a correlation between heavy consumption of processed meats and certain cancers like colon cancer. And we need to remember that correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation, but it should give us pause to take a minute and think about what we put in our bodies.
Shalene, I mean, as somebody who's representing the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, you have to not love when the headline says it's as dangerous as, you know, asbestos and smoking, and then you hear the second line is, well, you can still have it in moderation. I mean, that's not terribly fair to the industry.
Well, I think we wish that it was as simple as that, but single foods just don't cause cancer, and the reality is that red and processed meats can be a very important part of a healthy and balanced diet.
Rebecca, where do you come down on this one?
You know, I come down on the fact that I help people make healthy habits that they can live with. And when you look at the psychology of this, telling people that they can't have something just makes them want it even more. It unleashes our inner rebel. It's not very helpful. We have to help people make better choices, focus on what they can add in. And if they like these foods, don't try to police and eliminate them. Find a positive way that they can change their habits. And not to mention with food, but also let's talk about the exercise we need to get, the sleep. I personally think this, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, Dr. Campbell, that makes it sound like we're children. I mean, you don't tell people they can't have it because then they'll want twice as much. I mean, that's how I deal with my kids. With adults, I mean, you have to give them all the information and the facts. And if it's true that, you know, for example, part of this said that if you have regular roast turkey, it doesn't have the same negative side effects as if you have processed meat, that the carcinogens are in, you know, the way that they're treated when they're processed. Is that something to consider?
You know, I think it is because, you know, not all of the cancers are being caused directly by red meats or processed meats. It's really the chemicals that are placed on these meats, or the curing, the smoking, the salting may have something to do with it. But I agree with our nutritionist. You know, when you give patients a diet that says you can't have X, Y, and Z, the chances of success are very small. Why not say, let's focus on a Mediterranean-style diet with lots of fish and fruits and vegetables, and yes, an occasional piece of red meat or processed meat is okay. Everything in moderation.
Shalene, I don't think it's a big shock that hot dogs are bad for you, though.
Well, you know, I heard the advice about the Mediterranean diet, and as a registered dietitian, one of the things that I know is that a lot of people don't realize is that the Mediterranean diet has more red and processed meat than we're eating in the U.S. today. So it's really about enjoying your lean red meat, your processed meat with fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and we know the science in that area is strong. That's how you can build a healthy diet. That's how you can manage your weight and reduce your risk for cancer.
Rebecca, real quick, last word. Is that true, though? The Mediterranean diet has a processed meat in it? I'm not sure that's what they mean when you're talking about following the healthy Mediterranean diet.
Well, what I think it means is that you have to start where you're at and start adding in positive changes from there. But, you know, you really got to take your own preferences into account. You don't have to go to extremes here.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. Start where you're at and add positive changes. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. David.
Yogi Berra, who lived to be 90, used to have a Hebrew National hot dog every day for lunch. Just putting it out there.